Good afternoon, y'all. It is Monday afternoon, and it is the first day of the reading rush. Let's get started. So first off, I've already started on The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I read like 2 chapters this morning, and then I'm maybe 50 pages into The Island of Dr. Moreau. I'm liking it. It's suspicious. It's creepy. There's definitely been like a few pieces of terminology that have been used that just kind of showcase the age of this work, because it was published in like the 1890s, I want to say. This story has a lot of influence in the sci-fi genre, so I am interested to officially finish it. That's all I can say for now. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading, maybe have a bit of a snack. Hey y'all, I just thought I'd do a quick update because I read almost over 100 pages. No, I've officially surpassed 100 pages. I'm really enjoying it. I've just hit the point where we are essentially finding out that the Trojan War has started. I watched a reading vlog by CJ Reads earlier, and she's also reading this, and she actually said once she hit this point, her interest started to dwindle, so I'm a little worried that may happen, but I'm not really sure. We'll see. Achilles and Patroclus are absolutely adorable. We got to see some time where they were living with Chiron, not a cyclops, and the centaur in the mountains, and like basically learning how to live off the land and training in all of these different professions that they've never had to do before. And I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. I liked getting to see the boys grow up a little bit, their friendships strengthen. It was really sweet. Got a few romantic elements there that just made my heart happy. I'm really liking it. It's really good. Also, this is a reminder because I just remembered. Wash your reusable water bottles, friends. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy Tuesday, everybody. So I have nearly finished The Island of Dr. Moreau, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely reminding me of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I really like how we're thinking that the beasts are supposed to be the monsters, when in reality it seems as though the humans are more the monsters in the story. Along with that, just science doing something that shouldn't necessarily be done. I can also see how Lord of the Flies might have gotten some inspiration from this, because sort of the idea of men reverting, why hello, men reverting back to like their more primal thoughts and beliefs and wishes after they have been cut off from society for so long. We can kind of see that in Dr. Moreau and Dr. Montgomery. I don't know if he's a doctor. Mr. Montgomery? Montgomery. I also want to give another shout out to Theodora Goss and the Extraordinary Adventures of the Athena Club series, because I just keep thinking about this series while reading The Island of Dr. Moreau. Every time the puma is mentioned, I'm just like, oh, it's Catherine, it's Kat, oh, there she is again. Along with that, we actually do get to see Dr. Moreau and Mr. Montgomery, Dr. Montgomery. I have to say, she kept the characterization of them and the relationship the two men have pretty true to the original now that I'm reading it. So yeah, I would definitely say I'm enjoying this. I don't even have like 30 pages left in this, so I can probably finish this pretty quick. And then after that, I'm going to be picking up Night by Eli Wessel. This one was also the book that I was supposed to be reading outside. I'm going with outside of my house because I may not necessarily be reading outside because it is super hot out. I also ended up finding an audiobook for The Song of Achilles on one of my library's apps and have started listening to that as well. I probably should have listened to more today in all honesty, but booktube. I'm now hitting probably like the halfway point, I think. We're essentially getting deeper into the Trojan War. Both of the boys have been propositioned to join the war now, and the prophecy has been brought up to Achilles that he kind of has to join the war if he really wants to maybe sometime become a god like his mother wants him to. I can definitely just see that we are starting to steer towards the heartbreaking bits in this book, and I'm trying to prepare myself for it. See you guys later. Good morning, y'all, and happy hump day! I do want to talk a little bit more about the Song of Achilles. I think one of the reasons I really liked Achilles and Patroclus' relationship at the end was because Patroclus seemed to have become almost like Achilles, what's the word I want? Conscious for compassion, where Achilles is constantly surrounded by all of these macho men, warrior types, and Patroclus continues to remind him of like where he came from and to not always be just this like mindless killer like many of the other men in the army. I can definitely see what CJ Reads meant when she said how it started to like drag on a bit once we hit the war. I can understand that, and at the same time, toxic masculinity ruins the party again. However, I did like the war parts from a historical aspect because I was getting to learn more about some of the men and other kingdoms that were part of the war that I didn't know of, and was actually like learning at least their names, if not like what kind of a man they were. The writing in this was absolutely gorgeous. I didn't expect anything less from Madeline Miller because I loved it in Circe as well. She just has a way of even making a battle sound oddly gorgeous. Like, is that weird? Towards the end, I was really scared we were going to have a like sad ending, but kind of took a last minute turn on me, and I'm glad about that. Because I don't know if my heart could have handled it if we ended the way I thought it was going to. So, thank God. Next up, I'm going to pick up My Friend Dahmer by Durf Backdurf. This is a fairly hefty graphic novel. Like, I did not realize this was going to be so thick. Probably start on Cinder's audiobook today, as well as night on my ebook on my phone. It's also movie night, so I get to do a little Zoom call with my two best friends since we don't all live in the same apartment complex anymore now that we have graduated college. So ready for this dumpster fire that is The Rise of Skywalker. Hey y'all, it's the afternoon and I just got home from work. I'm going to start working on My Friend Dahmer. That's basically all I really have to say, in all honesty. I haven't really read anything. I watched more booktube at work rather than starting on Cinder. I really just need to realign my priorities. I am very happy today with my makeup. I managed to do like decent eyeliner, and y'all, I don't do eyeliner. I am not good at it. It never ends well for me, and this is like not bad. Hey y'all, happy Thursday. So I started My Friend Dahmer by Durf Backdurf last night, and I think I read about the first 2 parts. It also had a little introduction where Durf explained why he felt the need to create this graphic novel and sort of his relationship with Dahmer from the get-go, that they weren't exactly friends, but they hung out together. I also really appreciated that he highlighted you can pity Dahmer, but you shouldn't empathize with him. He was in fact a serial killer, and that Durf himself did not have any sympathy for him after he started killing. He felt bad for the guy up until that and thinks he should have ended up getting help, but once he started killing, all bets were off. Durf has created this story from part of his own experiences of other people they went to school with, as well as different interviews done by other news outlets, which I thought was really interesting. There's actually like a notes section at the end of the book that breaks down certain pages and explains like where he got this information, or possibly deeper into what is being presented. I also started on the audiobook for Cinder, and I'm liking this so far. It's much more sci-fi than I thought it would be. Not to say like a cyborg isn't sci-fi, but I just assumed this was more fantasy world, but no, it's very much a futuristic science fiction style where we're following this woman, Cinder, who lives with her stepmother, stepsisters. One of her stepsisters is actually nice to her and Cinder has a decent relationship with. They live in an area called New Beijing, and the area is also dealing with problems of a plague. Cinder has actually met the prince and is working on an android for him. Not really surprised there was going to be something that would bring these two characters together. She also has a little robot sidekick that I think is like the sci-fi equivalent of the little mice and animals that we get to see in normal Cinderella story. that's really all I have for now. Tonight I'm going over to my brother's for dinner and we're gonna be watching Star Wars Clone Wars, but I'm very excited. I get to see my nephew and it's gonna be fun. I'll probably read after I get back. Hey y'all, happy Friday. So I have actually finished 2 books today. First, I finished Night by Eli Wiesel, and I usually rate books based on how much I enjoyed them, but for this one I think I have to rate it on how much I'm going to remember this book in years to come. Gut-wrenching and just seriously made you like stop and think about some of the atrocities that have happened in the world. Personally, I thought it was very interesting to read about how this young man started to struggle with his faith because of everything that was happening to him, which is totally understandable, but I liked getting to see into his thought process about that. I definitely teared up a good few times during this book, and by the end it was like definitely a struggle to hold back all of my emotions because it was just very rough read. But I do think it is one that is very important and a lot of people should read it because it's educating us about our past, and if we don't know about it, we're unfortunately inevitably going to repeat it. I also just finished reading My Friend Dahmer, had a little time lapse for you guys showing that. From the beginning, Backderf really symbolizes Dahmer's isolation with the art he has. So here's one with Dahmer walking on a road to his house. Again, Dahmer walking to his house. Please ignore that this says love. This is just the tab I had on hand. Dahmer walking alone down a hallway at his school, and just different pieces like that. This was super creepy. Some things I did think were very interesting that I learned about Dahmer in this was, for one, apparently he was always very forthright and truthful in all of the interviews he ever had. Fascinating to see this man through the eyes of someone who had known him for so long from when he was a normal teenager. At the very end, there's actually a page drawn where Derf literally highlights the day he found out that Dahmer was killing people. He learns that this killer went to high school with him, and his wife tells him, well, guess who it was? And Dahmer is the second person he guesses, and he was correct. And I just think that is terrifying because something deep down inside of him always knew that something wasn't right with Dahmer. I think this really rides the line between pitying Dahmer while also using him for education in the future. Overall, I actually really liked this. It was an interesting medium to read true crime in. I've never read a true crime graphic novel before, but I really liked it this way. After reading this, I definitely want to try and watch the, I don't know if it's a documentary, but the movie with Ross Lynch, because I'm very intrigued to see how this translated onto the screen and what kind of feel the movie has compared to the book, because for half of the time it didn't feel like I was reading a true crime story. It felt like I was reading a high school kid's narrative of his life. It is also the origin story for one of the Midwest's most prolific serial killers. I've also hit about the halfway point in Cinder, which I'm enjoying. I think it's a bit predictable. If I would have read this when I was like 15, I probably would have absolutely loved it. But I am still really liking it, and I definitely am planning to continue this series because I think this is a very interesting world where there is literally like a moon colony. That's all I have for now. Gonna be spending the night probably watching some Ripper Street with my parents. I'll probably pick up Wanted next. Happy Saturday, guys. So I already have read 2 issues of Wanted, and this is so much darker than the movie. Like, in the movie, they make it seem like the fraternity is a band of assassins and they kind of don't really have a side, they just work for themselves. But in this, it's actually like the fraternity is literally a band of supervillains. They actually tell Wesley how at one point they all banded together and got rid of superheroes and like killed all of them, and it was pretty intense. The training section is also a lot shorter. It was only about the second issue, whereas in the movie it seemed like the majority of the movie was Wesley getting trained. But with this one, he's already kind of become the new assassin. Overall, I definitely would just say this is not for the faint of heart. Like, these are not good people. You're not supposed to be cheering for them. It's more just like seeing how the story's unfolding, because they are definitely all villains and they are not to be messed with. Like I said, it's just a lot darker than I was anticipating. I also got some book mail in. I ordered A Bad Day for Sunshine, and like, wow, this back is so pretty. It's so cool, and it's got like a nice shine on the sunglasses. I don't know why I didn't buy this before I read it, because I always planned to buy it. Dorinda Jones has become kind of an auto-buy author for me, so now that I have the first one, I will definitely be planning to buy the second one when it comes out and just diving right into it, not having to worry about waiting for my library to get it. I ordered this on Bookshop so I could actually support a small business. I like that they have the ability to donate some of the profits to a certain bookshop. If you want to, you can specify. That's all for now. I'm actually going to be spending the night at my boyfriend's. I decided to pick up Such a Fun Age on my library app, which is like the book club read for the Reading Rush, and if I have time, I may try and finish that. There's only one day left in the Reading Rush after this, so we're almost there. We'll see how many of these books I actually end up finishing, because I still have another comic I need to pick up. Who knows? Hey guys, happy Sunday. So I actually have hit about the halfway point in Such a Fun Age. I'm really liking it. I'm really glad I picked this up. It's very interesting. This story basically follows this young woman who babysits for a white family, and the young woman is African American, and one night she takes the little girl to a grocery store and gets accused of kidnapping the child. And it's kind of following the fallout that happens afterwards, as well as the relationship between the babysitter as well as the mother of this child. It's definitely kind of looking into like the whole idea of like the white savior complex. Probably prefer listening to Amira's parts, which is the babysitter. I just think I can relate more to her. She's closer to my age, and I have a hard time empathizing with the mom. After the events at the beginning of the book, Amira is very much more just like trying to disregard what happened and move past it. She's in the process of trying to find out who she is and what she wants to do with her life, so she nannies and is also a typist. No, she's a transcriber, but she doesn't want to do that for the rest of her life. And while the rest of her friends are kind of getting themselves together and becoming official adults with grown-up jobs, she is still doing stuff she thinks as temporary. I also finished Cinder yesterday and I really enjoyed it. As I said, it was a bit predictable. I wasn't too surprised on items that were probably supposed to be like big plot twists, but that being said, I still really enjoyed it. It was a pretty fun ride. I really like this world, and I'm definitely planning to continue this series. I also finished reading Wanted today, and once again, I just want to say this is so much darker than the movie. This handled so much more. I was very much more invested in this story. Very difficult as the audience to decide how I'm supposed to feel about these characters. Am I supposed to be rooting for them? Am I supposed to be hoping they get a happy ending? Am I hoping they're supposed to die by the end? What's going to happen? I don't know. And that's essentially how I felt throughout it. Finally, I have enough time that I'm going to pick up Batgirl of Burnside and probably finish this. I don't know if I'll finish this as well as Such a Fun Age tonight, but I'm going to try to. This isn't too long of a comic book, so hopefully I can get it done tonight and officially finish the 7 books I picked out for the Reading Rush. Yay me! However, I probably am not going to get to give you guys any updates about it because I have to finish editing this video and post it for tomorrow. So this is it for now, friends. Check my Goodreads if you want to see if I finish this tonight or not, as well as if I manage to finish Such a Fun Age. I don't think I will, but we'll see. I never know how to end these, so I guess I'm going to do my traditional ending. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Bye.